Okay, I'm gonna go over the top.
The negative impact of e-learning on education due to COVID-19. In today's society with the coronavirus, some schools have opted to teach their students virtually, some schools have gone back normally, and some schools have adopted hybrid schemes of both plans. While all school districts around the country are making changes to deal with COVID-19, the biggest changes have come in the way of e-learning. Although students are still attending classes, participation is down, student-teacher rapport is suffering, and families are struggling. Although there are positives to this new style of learning, today I'll focus on the negative aspects of virtual schooling. Participation from the students is way down. Student absences are at an all-time high. In the Monroe Public School District, parents say 84% of their children are able to connect to Zoom meetings and classes without assistance. That leaves 16% of students that are unable to attend classes regularly. With little to no supervision at home, students are easily distracted by things like television, video games, and social media. In virtual classes, students are far less interested in participating. Some students won't even turn on their microphone or their camera. Many students are also reported as having missing assignments. At least 50% of students know that they have at least one missing assignment. This year, students have more access to be able to cheat with things like the internet and social media. It is more difficult for children to ask questions and for the teachers to give feedback. It often takes several hours or even days for teachers to give feedback to students when they ask questions, whereas before they could answer questions with the simple raise of a hand in class. A teacher in the Monroe Public Schools study commented that it is extremely difficult to give feedback to students. The teacher said when grading assignments, it takes hours to give students feedback that I would normally give in person. For each student, I must type this feedback for each assignment individually. I also find it difficult to make sure the students receive my feedback. Often, I don't get a response from them. According to McLeod, the zone of proximal development refers to the difference between what a learner can do without help or what he or she can achieve with guidance and encouragement from a skilled partner. Skilled partners include peers with a good understanding of the material, instructors, and outside tutors. Supportive activities, also referred to as scaffolding, are used by teachers to get students through and get the most out of the zone of development. Due to distance and e-learning, the lack of interaction between students and instructors is at an unsustainable level and is not showing any immediate signs of improvement. Teachers are having to think of new ways to interact with students and keep their levels of interest peaked, while also allowing students to interact with one another. Norman Weinstein states, innovative experiential education is increasingly being developed that requires more activity from students than occasional mouse clicking on a screen icon. According to Douglas Fisher, there are 5 attributes that are crucial for building and maintaining strong student-teacher relationships. These attributes are teacher empathy, unconditional positive regard, genuineness, non-directivity, and encouragement of critical thinking. Many families rely on their children going to school as a means to live. According to Monroe Public Schools survey, approximately 40% of students rely on school as their main source of food. 25% of students that are receiving food are satisfied, leaving more than 15% of total students hungry. Within the Monroe Public District, there are 5 locations where students and families can pick up food. For the families that are unable to pick up food, there are 13 school bus routes that deliver food and they're scheduled in advance, so families can make arrangements to be there to pick it up. Many other area schools have implemented similar meal programs for their students as well. Many parents are also having to make babysitting arrangements or have had to alter their work schedule to make arrangements for childcare. The advancements in e-learning have come a long way in a short time span. But with it being the main source of education for millions of students across the country, more work needs to be done to prevent them from falling behind. Every school district around the country has to continue making changes to deal with COVID-19. Although students are still attending classes, participation is down, student-teacher rapport is suffering, and families are struggling. In the words of Douglas Fisher, distance learning is not an accelerator, it is also not negative. That means the setting is not the deciding factor. While e-learning is the safest alternative, it still has a long way to go before it's as effective as in-person schooling.